Visually, it looks beautiful.
What isn't a regular interest in many kids' life is cooking, let alone be a part of a cooking competition and being critiqued by Gordon Ramsay himself. The chef does have a pretty big reputation of being a harsh critic, but some kids on MasterChef anyway just have a knack for the culinary arts.
That is perfection on a plate. You're becoming unstoppable.
They pull through and cook dishes that many adults wouldn't dare to do. That's why we gathered a bunch of moments where these little chefs really impressed Gordon Ramsay with their cooking abilities. Quani's Cupcake.
You are definitely specializing in that level of finesse.
For the Mystery Box Challenge, the kids on MasterChef Junior had a difficult task. They had to make a delicious dish out of canned goods.
But they're missing their labels.
The only way you're going to know exactly what you have to work with is to open them up and have a little taste inside.
So, besides the difficulty of cooking a great dish, they had to assemble a meal out of the blue with the ingredients they found in those cans. Quani decided to make a vanilla bean cupcake with pineapple filling and a peach cherry frosting. Quite a task to do in just under an hour, especially with a great advantage on the line. But Quani's boldness paid off, and he was the first to step forward and have his dish evaluated by the judges. Quani was very happy about that.
They look like they're from a fancy restaurant in France.
Wow, Quani, they look stunning.
We are going to have to agree on this, as always. They did look amazing.
You see, Quani, I look at that level of execution, I don't see anything canned there.
The frosting looked great. Quani used cherry, peaches, and the juices to give it a little more flavor. Gordon took a bite and loved it.
That sponge is delicious. It is fragrant, it is sweet, it's absolutely spot on.
Chef Ramsay was impressed by the level of finesse displayed by Quani.
I just wish the 8 standing behind you could taste these things.
To finish it off, Quani even got a high five from Gordon. But before we move on, show us your appreciation. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a new video from us here at Babbletop. Now, back to the show. Evan's pumpkin sweet potato ravioli.
This is complexity, and it's kind of the epitome of what Italian cuisine is all about.
During the same challenge with canned goods, Evan wanted to cook something close to his heritage, since he was part Italian, and also to redeem himself. During the last challenge, he fumbled his ravioli. Now it was time for some redemption.
I am making pumpkin sweet potato raviolis with a black truffle cream sauce.
Good luck.
When he was called by the judges, Evan was ecstatic. This was the first time he had been in the top 3.
This has to be the best dish I've ever made in my life.
It sure did look appetizing. First, Evan received critique from Joe. He said the ravioli looked authentic, a huge compliment coming from him.
And the thing that's working in this dish is like a great contrast between the sweetness of the sweet potatoes and the earthiness of black truffles.
Yes.
Overall, it was a rather complex dish.
Now you're building flavors here, and it's kind of the epitome of what Italian cuisine is all about.
After some rave reviews from Joe, it was time for the big leagues. Gordon was up next. First, Chef Ramsay wanted to know about the process of making the pasta. Then he took a bite.
Pasta's delicious. It's got that beautiful mound, that height on the ravioli that very few chefs can manage.
Because Evan didn't have the best track record during the competition so far, Gordon was really impressed.
For me, what's happened across this challenge was that you've come back stronger. I'm blown away. Good job.
Beni's cocoa rubbed filet mignon.
Holy mackerel. That blend of that chocolate, the spice, the savory, it's exquisite. It's got absolute great finesse.
For this challenge, the MasterChef Junior competitors had to work with chocolate, and they had a lot of chocolate to work with. A whole lot of chocolate. The stakes were also pretty high, considering the winner would have a guaranteed ticket to the semifinals.
I'm feeling like one of those little leprechauns chasing after that beautiful pot of gold.
The little chef chose to go for a savory meal.
So I am doing a cocoa rubbed filet mignon with a brown butter parsnip puree, crispy parsnips, and chocolate port sauce.
This is a very sophisticated dish.
Yes, it is.
Beni certainly wasn't pulling any punches. She said she wanted to do something that would please the grown-ups, as in the judges. When time was up, Beni seemed confident. She was also called first, which was a good sign. The little chef was happy about the look of the dish.
But I've never actually cooked with chocolate before, so I don't know if the cocoa powder and the steak will go well together.
Beni presented the plate to Gordon.
Visually, it looks beautiful. It's like
Thank you.
a piece of art.
It looked better than most of those fancy meals you might find on Instagram. Beni was going for the steak to be medium rare.
So it should be pink in the middle.
Yes, it should.
Wow, look at that.
Even Joe went in and took a closer look. Tasting it also got a strong reaction out of Gordon.
It's exquisite. It's got absolute great finesse. Young lady, great job.
Thank
well
you.
done.
Olivia's cocoa rubbed steak.
Is this the perfectly cooked steak? We're gonna have to see when we cut it open.
For the same chocolate challenge, Olivia decided to play it risky. She went on the savory route. She was going to do a chocolate brown sugar-rubbed New York strip. Not too bad for a 10-year-old.
Golden apron, here I come.
But while making the dish, things weren't going smoothly for Olivia. Matter of fact, she was struggling pretty hard. That seemed to put the kid in a downward spiral, unfortunately.
Dear, oh dear.
So I'm remaking it?
It was kind of heartbreaking to see. The young little chef scrambling to cook the meat with so little time left. Olivia was running against the clock to get everything done. Even Olivia herself admitted she was starting to break down. Who could blame her? With so much at stake and without a steak done. Christina went to guide Olivia, who seemed to be on the verge of tears.
You feel this New York strip, which we know is over, and then feel this.
That's better.
You're taking a lot of risks tonight. Make sure it's a beautiful medium rare.
The moment of truth came when she was summoned by the judges.
Today I made for you a cocoa New York strip with yogurt coleslaw, red quinoa, and a chipotle chocolate sauce.
Olivia said she was unsure if the steak would be properly cooked.
So if that's medium rare, yeah, it should be pink in the middle.
It looked beautiful.
New York strip is delicious. Quinoa is fragrant. All in all, a great job. Thank you.
Quani's flourless cake.
Wow, you can bake with your eyes closed. Delicious. That is perfection on a plate.
Quani was pretty confident about the chocolate challenge.
I feel good about this challenge because I'm baking again.
And the challenge gave him the opportunity of cooking with chocolate. Is there anything better than chocolate?
I'm making a chocolate flourless cake with a raspberry coulis, white chocolate ganache, and an almond brittle.
With that, he fully believed that he would be able to impress the judges once again. After all, the golden apron was on the line. When he presented the dish to Gordon, the chef liked the look of it.
Wow. Why flourless? Because there's plenty of flour in there.
I've showed you guys I can make cake with flour. Why not show you guys I can cook it without?
So, basically, the little chef wanted to flex a little bit. Show off his chops, you know? As he should, since the cake was pretty tasty.
Temperature-wise, you've absolutely nailed it. It's really gooey and unctuous and rich in the middle.
Everything about it seemed spot on. Quani nailed the garnish too, and the mix of white chocolate and dark chocolate was great. Sammy's pan-seared steak.
You're plating like a chef. Continue cooking like this, and you're going to be one to watch.
For the mystery box challenge, the kids had 45 minutes to create a dish that was inspired by their family. A tall order for such a short amount of time. Sammy was making a seared steak with Parmesan polenta, fried Brussels sprouts, and a compound butter.
Why this dish?
Because my brother and my dad really love meat, and my sister and my mom really love vegetables.
Maybe that's why Sammy was so successful with his dish, having to cater to two wildly different tastes at home. Sammy landed on the top 3.
This was elevated beyond belief.
Sammy was thrilled to be the first one called. He was also happy that his family would be proud of his dish as well.
Visually, Sammy, it looks beautiful.
It really did. It was exquisitely plated and everything looked absolutely delicious.
You've got a perfect sear.
The sprouts were deep fried, which is a great way to make anything yummier.
The dish is delicious. You've got that nice creamy polenta. That could be boring and dull, but you've done it beautifully.
Sammy expertly used the polenta to bind it all together.
Young man, you're plating like a chef.
Gordon said that if Sammy managed to keep his stride going, he would become a serious threat in the competition. That must be a pretty good boost of confidence, and it rightly left Sammy pretty happy. Remy and Anthony's dish.
That's beautiful. Well, they're not burnt, they're caramelized. The flavor is delicious.
Remy and Anthony were both part of a tag team picked by Sammy. This could be tricky since Remy was a self-professed bossy person, and Anthony didn't seem like he wanted to be bossed around very much.
We got this.
The challenge?
You'll be making an incredible Asian-inspired platter.
It had a lot going on, and it was quite complex as Gordon explained it. Just like she said she would, Remy did shout a lot of orders towards Anthony.
Anthony, start mixing! We are running behind here, okay. So mix!
Anthony and Remy are not on the same page.
I'm like, Remy, we can communicate if you stop yelling at me.
They were constantly disagreeing, especially about the egg rolls.
They are struggling.
Gordon noticed that the team was running a bit slow. Worse yet, Chef Ramsay criticized the egg rolls.
I'd wrap them again if I was you. Hey, listen to him. You haven't been listening to him yet, but you need to find your voice a little bit.
Okay.
Thankfully, after some of Gordon's guidance, the teams seemed to gel better together. Anthony managed to find his voice and work well together with Remy, to the surprise of Joe. When it came time to critique, they were called first. They were pretty nervous about it due to their rocky start.
Tough combination, because it looked like a divorce within the first 10 minutes.
Thankfully, they pulled it together.
Visually, the platter looks good.
He loved the colors. The duck was beautifully glazed.
Delicious.
Anthony was anxious about the pot stickers because he thought they would be burnt.
That's beautiful. Well, they're not burnt, they're caramelized.
While the egg rolls kept being a point of contention, this duo did a great job overall. Remy's donuts.
It's quite groundbreaking, and it scares me to think at the age of 12 that you're this good.
Like always, the kids had a difficult challenge ahead. For this mystery box, the kids had to make desserts without any processed sugar. Remy decided to make 2 different types of donuts. To add even more of a healthy bend to the plate, she baked her donuts. She didn't even fry them. It was so impressive that she landed in the top 3. She was pumped and really wanted to win. She made some donuts with matcha glaze and chocolate ganache with toasted coconut.
Just the presentation, the finesse is just incredible.
As well as with the donuts being baked. Remy said she wanted to make donuts that were almost like cakes. After a bit of suspense,
Well, they're delicious.
then it was time for Gordon's critique. Chef Ramsay said they looked stunning.
They are the smartest donuts in the country tonight.
Gordon really loved it and even called it groundbreaking.
And you just proved you can make a healthy donut without sugar.
Ramsay said that a lot of pastry chefs, including Christina, would probably take inspiration from Remy's recipe. What more could she want? That's a pretty big achievement for people of any age group. Being only 12 years old, it's that much more impressive for Remy. Because of that, Remy even won the challenge. Maria's puff pastry.
8 years of age, you're cooking like a young pastry chef. Great job.
For the same challenge, Maria decided to do a puff pastry. She decided to use coconut as the alternative to processed sugar. With that, she landed in the top 3, despite being one of the youngest chefs in the competition.
The second dish that we're dying to take a much closer look at.
Maria made a puff pastry plum tart with a coconut drink. As a whole, it really did look great.
Where did you get all these ideas from, 8 years of age?
Maria said she was an avid reader of cookbooks, including Gordon's own books.
The one that you look like a little kid where you're like,
Gordon was impressed that, besides the pastry, Maria even managed to sneak in a drink. It had coconut juice, a little bit of plum, and some cinnamon stick at the bottom.
That's lovely.
Gordon was impressed with the seasoning as well. Maria put some molten salt, pepper, and a little bit of spice. That was truly impressive. Such a bold combination of flavors.
The dish is delicious. I love the caramelized plums. The drink is delicious.
Overall, it was a great job, especially for someone who was only 8 years old. She was cooking like a young pastry chef. Tilly Ramsay's burger.
That's the way I do it.
He's really annoying, isn't he?
Cooking is a great activity that can bring families together. For many people, the meals their families cooked in their childhood are among the best they have ever eaten. Imagine how lucky Gordon's family must be with the famous chef cooking just for them. And the apple doesn't fall that far from the tree. After all, one of Gordon's children seems to be following in his footsteps. It's Tilly Ramsay. Just 15 years old, she already has her own cooking show and cookbook. Having Gordon critique her food since she was very little probably was a double-edged sword. She was learning from the best, but Gordon probably didn't go any easier just because she was his daughter. Now, Tilly seems to be aiming for the throne. During an episode of MasterChef Junior, the young Ramsay offspring showed up with her famous burger recipe. You can't deny that it looked quite delicious. Tilly also showed the little chefs how to recreate the whole burger, which would also be their challenges for the night. Her process was plenty thorough, accompanied by some perfectly made fries. With some pesto aioli, mushroom, and a burger with some mozzarella cheese, Tilly's burger left everyone pretty hungry.
That's how you make my Tilly burger. With delicious fries, like a MasterChef. Right, Dad?
Gordon, of course, had to take a closer look. He cut the burger in half.
Oh, man. Look at that, culinary perfection. That looks incredible.
You could hear how much Gordon was proud of his daughter. Mikey's burger.
Beautiful, really beautiful. Pink in the middle, cheese oozing out.
After Tilly's impressive demonstration, it was up to the little chefs to recreate the dish in just under 45 minutes. During the process, Mikey already seemed like he was doing a good job.
Nice fries, dude. Very consistent cut.
After all, Mikey did have plenty of experience cooking burgers back at home.
Yeah, we eat a lot of burgers, at least once a week.
Maybe because of that, Mikey was the first one to be called.
This burger's a lot more high-end than the burger that I ate at home.
Not that there's anything wrong with a regular cheeseburger, but Mikey sure was confident he replicated the burger to perfection. From the outside, it truly looked beautiful, just like Gordon said. He said it a couple of times, actually.
That looks beautiful, beautiful. Really beautiful.
When he cut a slice, the burger was perfectly pink in the middle, with the cheese oozing out as well. Both Gordon and Tilly were really impressed.
That was really good. I think your seasoning was amazing and you cooked it perfectly.
Which must be a great feeling to impress not only one Ramsay, but two Ramsays at the same time. Mikey's fries were also beautifully done.
Something clicked tonight. You're a confident cook, but tonight this is your most confident you've ever cooked, because that is delicious.
Mikey, of course, seemed to be pretty happy with the result. Evan's burger.
Seasoning's on point, great caramelization. Pesto with the mayonnaise, delicious.
Mikey wasn't the only one who did a great job recreating Tilly's burger. Evan felt pretty confident he was doing great, as he said so during the preparation of the burger. Being from San Diego, Evan was used to a great hamburger, both at home and at restaurants.
Your fries look a little bit smaller than Tilly's.
So things weren't just smooth sailing. When he was called to get his critique, Evan seemed like he was in a good place.
I think I replicated her burger really well, but it all comes down to the flavor.
Both Gordon and Tilly noted that the burger was juicy, a great first sign. The moment of truth came. Time to see how the burger was cooked. Evan was apprehensive, wondering if things would turn out well.
You've nailed the cook. Let's get that right.
You could see how happy Evan was to receive that compliment. The bun was toasted really well, with the mushrooms also being cooked beautifully.
And that's the money right there, the cheese.
Gordon took a bite, a pretty big bite we might add.
Wow.
That was really good. I really liked it.
The seasoning was on point, the pesto with the mayonnaise too. The fries? Evan listened to the critiques and cut them out to be more uniform.
You're a smart cook, so you listen.
The only problem?
More fries, pack it. Jimmy, your basket full.
When the only problem with your dish was that there isn't more of it, that's a pretty great problem to have.
But you did a really good job. Well done.
Ayla and Jimmy's sushi boat.
Love the roll. Roll looks fantastic. This perhaps has to be the platter of the night.
Ayla and Jimmy had to create a whole sushi boat in just under 60 minutes. Not an easy task at all, but they were pretty sure they nailed it.
I'm really proud of me and Ayla because we worked well together, and I don't think that many other people could pull off this sushi boat.
Joe called them to give his critique. From the looks perspective, the sushi boat seemed amazing.
Are you both sushi experts?
He congratulated both of them, saying that it looked straight out of a restaurant, not made by an 11 and 12-year-old.
It's the best sushi we've ever had in this kitchen, even including the adults. I mean, this is about as good as it gets.
When Gordon went to give his critique, he wanted to know one thing.
What was the secret behind this amazing platter?
I think the teamwork was definitely the secret.
It did seem true, given how closely the two seemed to work together.
Visually, it looks absolutely stunning. Love the roll. Roll looks fantastic. This perhaps has to be the platter of the night.
Jimmy looked like he was holding back his excitement. After all, who wouldn't be excited?
Great job. Well done.
Thank you.
Beni's steak.
Wow. Man, that's good. The meat is incredible.
For the first mystery box challenge of season 6, the chefs had 26 ingredients to work with, from A to Z. A for Asiago, B for bacon, C for chocolate, and so on. The judges wanted to see the chefs on a plate, and had 1 hour to do so. The competition was big, and it wasn't going to be easy to stand out, but Beni was feeling great.
I am making herb-crusted New York strip steak with yogurt dill sauce, ginger, quinoa, and sauté kale.
This was close to home for Beni, since she was inspired by her grandfather, who would always cook steak for big family events.
Do you think you can stand out?
I cook very interesting dishes, and I consider myself a unique girl. The punky Chicago girl.
During the critique, Beni was the second one to be called.
Your dish looks like it's come out of a new age steakhouse.
Right off the bat, she was getting a great series of compliments. Beni really wanted to be called, and she got her wish. Beni was smiling from ear to ear. She was pretty happy to be in the top 3, and it really showed that Beni really knew how to cook a proper steak. During his critique,
OMG.
He complimented the sear of the steak. It was glistening, pink, and incredibly juicy. Gordon said that the meat was incredible. A big compliment coming from Chef Ramsay. Avery's unique burger tasting.
Is it good or not?
From the start, Avery seemed like she was in for a great critique from Gordon. After all, the chef asked her to describe that delicious-looking burger.
I call this a Sportsman's Paradise burger with a jazzy coleslaw and a Creole spread, and as a side, some sweet southern potato chips.
For the burger, she used pork and venison.
And where do you get the idea with venison?
Avery explained that venison was a lean meat that would go great with the fatty nature of the pork meat. Gordon even called the little kid smart for putting such a great combination together. Chef Ramsay asked where Avery was aiming in regards to the meat. Avery wants the meat to be red in the middle. And
Nailed it. Big time.
Avery even let out a pretty big sigh of relief. Then Gordon took a bite.
Pate, delicious. You've got the salt right, the pepper right.
Chef Ramsay also loved the coleslaw and the chips. All in all, everything seemed to work really well together. It also looked great, as you can see from the camera lovingly showing the plate. Would you like to make any of these dishes yourself? Let us know in the comments. Stick around and enjoy more Babbletop videos by clicking on them. We hope you enjoyed this video as much as we did. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that gray bell to join our notification squad. And leave a comment if you especially love the Master Chef himself.